we're looking at P20-36A. So we're going to be doing this using our break-even formula to figure a few things out. Okay. So it says, new investor group is opening an office in Portland, Oregon. Let's see. And then they give us the fixed monthly costs. So we got rent, $8,500, depreciation on the office, $1,600, utilities, $2,500, special telephone line, $1,600, a connection with an online brokerage service, $2,600, and the salary of a financial planner, $4,200. And so we got a bunch of fixed costs, right? And then we're going to have some variable costs. Okay, and it says variable costs include payments to the financial planner, 9% of revenue, advertising is 11% of revenue, supplies and postage is 4% of revenue, and usage fees for the telephone lines and computerized brokerage service is 6% of revenue. Okay, so remember our formula, yeah, if we do break even in units, then it equals fixed costs divided by price minus variable costs per unit, right?
Wait, are we the class? We're not the class, are we?
Yeah.
There's more people in the class.
There's more people, but
I've been gone, so I know that I don't know everybody.
Right. You two are the ones that chose to come on this evening.
Okay, well,
Okay.
Okay.
So, this little thing in here, price minus variable cost per unit, right?
Oh, variable. Okay, I
Right. Price minus variable costs per unit. That could also be called contribution margin per unit. So you could make yourself another definition over here. You could say contribution margin on a per unit basis equals price minus variable costs per unit. Right. And I'm just abbreviating VC per unit for variable cost per unit. Okay. So that would be break even in units. If you wanted to do
really quick, I'm sorry, break even is
the point where
is
you
it like exactly what it sounds like?
exactly.
Where you break even? Okay.
Yeah,
just
where you recover all of your costs. Right.
That's my favorite song, was break even by I think the script. Yeah, by the script. Or was that the name of the album? I can't remember.
I don't know. So break even in dollars is going to be your fixed costs divided by your, we're going to call it contribution margin ratio. Okay. So if you were to take your contribution margin and divide it by the price, right? So contribution ratio equals contribution margin divided by price. I think my divide signs are backwards.
I think so.
Let's fix that.
I was like, backward slash? Isn't it
Yeah.
Wait, is that a backward slash or is that a forward slash?
This is a forward slash.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Just make sure. 'Cause, like, I never actually thought about the difference, but there is a difference.
This is the forward slash.
Because I'm like, what is a backward slash mean?
I don't think it has a mathematical purpose
Then
in,
what's the
computer.
point of having two?
Yeah.
You know what, screw it. I don't even care.
Yeah.
They do not even care because it does not matter at all.
Okay, anyway, for this one, we're trying to get required sales in dollars. So our denominator is going to be our contribution margin ratio. Okay. Okay. Now, these two formula that I have here in yellow, if you wanted to modify them, right, this is just going to give us our break even, but if you want to go for a target profit, okay, or required unit sales to hit a target profit, you would take the same formula, right, fixed fixed cost, right, divided by price minus variable costs per unit. You take that same formula and you tweak it a little, you modify it, where in the numerator we add our target profit. So it's the same formula as the breaking even formula, except we're adding target profit, and I'll make that bold. We're adding target profit to the numerator. Does that make sense?
I'm sorry, what does this do again?
This is going to help us figure out how many units we have to sell to hit
Okay, target profit.
to hit that target profit, yeah. And then the previous formulas, that would just tell us how many units we need to hit, just break even, right? Now, if you want to get the dollar sales, you would use that same break even in dollars, right? We can say required, and I'll abbreviate dollar sales to hit a target profit, okay? Use that same formula, that same break even in dollars formula, but what do? We add the target profit to the numerator. So it's going to be fixed costs plus target profit.
So you're first you're calculating how much units you have to sell to hit the target profit, and then how much you have to sell those units for.
Not how much you have to sell it for. That's going to be given, the amount that you have to sell them for.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So then what's the second one?
The second one is the dollar sales, the total dollar revenue that you have to generate to break even. So number 2 here, this second one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then this is the total.
This is the total dollar sales that you need to have to hit your target profit.
Okay, so then wait, so what's the difference between the units and the dollars? Because you sell the units for money.
Right. Well, it's, if you're doing units, it's going to be, it's got the, like, just a wild example here. You need to sell 1,500 widgets. That's the kind of answer you're going to get.
Yeah.
Right. That's the kind of answer you're going to get for the unit one.
Mm-hmm.
For the dollar one, it's going to say you need to
Oh,
you need to generate $500,000 in revenue.
Okay,
So you're going to get your answer in different,
it's like how much units you have to sell versus how much just
To-
money.
how much you have to generate.
What do we have to make from selling
Right.
these widgets?
Right. And you can easily get your units and multiply it by the price, and that'll give you your total revenue. Okay. So we got 4 formulas in this whole cost volume profit analysis situation. Break even in units, break even in dollars, required unit sales to hit a target profit, and required dollar sales to hit a target profit. Right. Those are the main concepts in this chapter. And we're going to call this cost volume profit analysis. It's a good thing if you got a business, or if you're going to open a business, a good thing to know how to do, because you want to know how much you need to sell just to stay alive first, and then you can set your target profit goals. Right?
And that can also tell you that this is probably the thing that tells you to sell a T-shirt for $15 when you only
Yeah.
make it for like $3 to $5.
It can help with your pricing too. So in this first situation, it says use the contribution margin ratio approach, which is, it's going to end up being number 4 down here. Okay, to compute news break-even revenue in dollars. If the average trade leads to $750 in revenue for new, how many trades must be made to break even? Okay, so we're trying to get it in dollars, right? 750 is the price. Okay, that's the price. Now, how would we figure out our contribution margin ratio? Let's give ourselves more space here. Can you still see that?
You need the contribution margin divided by the price.
Think about
So we have to
this.
figure out the contribution margin first.
You're doing good though. Well, watch this. They give us our variable costs in percentage terms, right? So if you got revenue, right, and if you treat revenue as 100%, why don't I put it over here on the right? Okay. And then they tell me my variable costs. the thing is they're gonna make me add it up, right? If you think about it, they say the first variable cost that I have is this financial planner, and that's 9%, okay? So 9, and then I got advertising, that's 11, so we're at 20% now, right? If I add 9 and 11, okay? Now they tell me supplies and postage is 4, I'm at 24%, okay? And then usage fees for telephone lines and computerized brokerage service is 6%. So my total variable costs are 30% if I add up all those percentages, right? You see what I did? Okay. So that leaves my contribution margin, because the definition of contribution margin is revenue minus variable costs, or price minus variable costs per unit. Okay. So in this case,
Wait, it's
revenue minus variable costs.
Oh,
Okay. So in this case, my contribution margin is going to be 100%, because
okay,
yeah.
yeah, so because they're variables. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. we've
Okay.
assigned 100%
We
to
all get
revenue,
that.
right?
They're the variables in the problem.
And then
That word in a while in there.
we subtract variable cost, okay, and we get our contribution margin. This ends up being our contribution margin ratio because it's in ratio format, okay? So this is the same thing as our contribution margin ratio. Okay? So we can take that, well, we know that number, right? Okay? So they want me to figure out the break even. So remember, the break even in dollars is your fixed costs, right, plus your target profit divided by contribution margin ratio. That would be formula number 4 that I gave you over here. Okay. Now we've already figured out our contribution margin ratio, which is 70%, so that's going to be over here. Okay. And then what we also need to do is we need to add up our fixed costs. So if you look back at the problem, we got fixed monthly costs, $8,500 for office rent. Depreciation is $1,600. So we could take our calculator if we wanted to. We could add up all those fixed costs. So all of the things in parentheses. So I'll go 8,500, 1,600, 2,500. Wait, I think I double click something here. You already got it added?
Wait, do you have 2,500? Oh, wait, 2,400. Oh, well. Same difference.
You got different numbers than I do.
Yeah, just slight difference, but it's the same thing.
Okay, so I get
Yeah,
21. Yeah, 20. So my fixed costs are 21,000. Okay. Now, I don't know. I don't think the problem is asking us to figure out any kind of target profit at this point.
No.
So I'm going to put 0 in there. Okay.
Wait, is this is the prices of all, this is like the cost of all of our fixed variable costs that we put into the 30%?
The variable costs were the 30% here, yeah. See, if I added up all the
Oh, so
percentages.
the fixed cost is the other stuff.
Yeah, the fixed cost is expressed in dollars.
Gotcha.
And they made the problem a little easier for us. They went ahead and expressed the variable cost in percentage terms.
Oh, wait, they say it right there, fixed monthly. Oh,
Right.
Whoops, okay.
Right. So it makes it easier to figure out the contribution margin ratio because things are already expressed in ratio format. Okay. So now all we have to do is take 21,000 and divide by 70%, and I guess we're going to get something like 300,000, but let's go ahead and do this. Divided by 0.7, 30,000. 30,000. Okay.
Wait.
So what this is saying is we need to have $30,000 in revenue
Wait, did you get
to break
2,400
even.
on the, I don't have my calculator with me.
You got a calculator right up here in the,
Where is it?
if you click on this, there's a calculator here. See?
I always forget about this little.
Yeah, yeah.
Or the start too, if you want to use the desktop calculator.
Right in the, oh yeah, in the start button.
Yeah.
Wait, the fixed costs is all of those numbers, right?
Your
They're
What?
not variable
Your,
costs?
your office
Yeah.
rent, your furniture, utilities.
It actually tells you up here, yeah.
3, 6,
Those are your fixed costs. Now, the problem kind of comes about it not in a linear approach. Now they turn around and they ask you, okay, how many trades must we have to break even? Well, they're telling me that it's $750 per trade on average. So if I were to take the $30,000 in revenue and divide by the average trade, okay, that would give me the units, the actual units. So I take 30,000 divided by 750. So we need to have 40 trades. So that's the units, right? 40 trades to break even. All right? Makes sense so far?
I
Yeah.
believe so.
And it's really just a matter of fishing out the information you need and plugging it into one of these formula, right? Let's see, what's the next one? Use the equation approach to compute the dollar revenues needed to earn a monthly target profit of $10,500. Begin by selecting the formula to compute the required sales in units to earn a target profit. So of course you're going to have your net sales revenue, right? Okay. And then you're going to have variable costs, you're going to subtract, and then fixed costs. So if you know that, if you know revenue minus variable costs minus fixed costs equal target profit, then you could use algebra to manipulate that equation so you can isolate the sales revenue, right? You could get it where you got just sales revenue on one side, right?
So target profit plus fixed cost plus variable cost gives you
Yeah,
net
this is
sales
like
revenue.
algebra.
Yeah, it ends up doing that. Yeah. Okay. Now it says rearrange the formula you determined above and compute the required number of trades to earn a monthly target profit of $10,500. So we could do that over here and
So
say,
we have the target profit, so
if I were to rearrange that, right, I could say net sales revenue, right, equals, and Keala had it, right?
Yeah.
We said target profit
Plus variable costs.
plus variable
Plus
costs
fixed costs.
plus
oh,
fixed
it's the exact
costs. We manipulated the formula.
opposite.
Right. Right.
My brain is dead, but it's like realizing the obvious like a second after I'm supposed to.
Then you could take it one step further. If you wanted to say net sales, well, required units, right? You could say required units. Then you could take all of that and divide it by price, right?
Oh, yeah. To break it down.
To break it down, right? So let's see what our numbers are.
Because then that confuses the price per unit.
Yeah, you divide it by the price per unit, and then it'll give you the number of units, right? So what is our target profit? 10,500
Yep.
plus variable cost.
Which is wait, I know it.
So we got to be careful now.
21,000.
You know why we got to be careful? Because we got to take our
Wait, no, it's the fixed cost first.
we got to take our
Oh my gosh. It's a, well, I'm sorry.
Wait,
Yeah,
this is a
it's
monthly profit
coming
you're
down.
asking for, right?
yeah, it's monthly. It's
Okay.
monthly. Yeah, this is all in monthly terms.
So we don't have to do anything. Okay, because then I'm like, we don't have to do that thing where we're like,
Yeah.
we remember like when you had the, I can't remember like the total details. Remember when you had the, it's like you were figuring. Oh, like, remember it was called like the salvage.
The
salvage
depreciation,
cost?
right?
Yeah,
Right.
so
This
you-
is not.
yeah,
This
that's
is
what I'm
not
thinking.
depreciation. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like that.
It's not like that. Now, let me regain our bearings, right? We say variable cost. Now that's where it's variable, right? We need to know the number of
Variable costs include payments.
it's going to be in percentage terms, right? Variable cost is 30% of any revenue that you generate. Okay? So you end up having to multiply that by right, the price, right, times the number of units
Oh, so times 750. Yeah.
that you sell, right? And then you're going to divide by, or you're going to add your fixed cost. And our fixed cost,
21,000, right?
right, 21,000,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then all of that would end up getting divided by price. Divided by 750. Okay?
What? Oh. Is it raining or isn't it funny how rain sounds astonishingly like applause? Seriously, I just noticed that. Wow, that would be really good for like a
If
book.
you went to,
Yeah, the rain
that
thunders down
Maui.
like a standing,
Uh-huh.
like
Well, then-
thunder, a standing ovation or something like that.
Could
I don't
use
know,
that.
I'm more of a
You're
lit person than a
so-
math person. Sorry.
I don't know. I think we overthought it a little, but
A
let's
little
see.
bit, but
Yeah.
if we get the gist.
Can you get to the answer? I probably would have just used the formula that we already have, right?
Which is the wait, it's
See here, break even in units, and then number 3. I would have used that, and I think that that's what this whole drill is. It's trying to get you to manipulate it into this,
into that thing.
that formula, right? Okay. So
So
what
the
what
beginning- well, let's put it in like that thing. So
Yeah.
then it's
so what ends it
1,000 plus 10,500.
So-
divided by 750 minus what's the variable cost?
You already have the formula. So what ends up happening is you're going to take your fixed cost of 21,000 plus your target profit of 10,500. Okay? And then you're going to take your
Right, which is 750.
price is 750. Oops. And then you're going to subtract, and you know that your variable costs are 30% times the price, so it'll be 30% times 750. And then if we had massaged that formula above enough, we would have gotten to this right here in yellow. Okay. So maybe just kind of delete that, and we'll use this to come up with our answer. So this is going to be the required units. Okay. So we'll just quickly whip it out. We got and let's see if this generates the number we're looking for.
Right now, yeah.
60.
Yep.
Okay. So we need 60 trades. What it's telling us, Makalapua, is we need 60 trades to hit the target profit,
Oh, yeah,
10,500.
We did that with the other 4
Yeah.
trades breaking even, now it's like 2.
So we'll throw that in
Break even, 60 trades to profit.
to make the profit.
Times 750 to get 30%, right?
0.3, yeah. I use 0.3. Yeah.
Man, my brain is just not alive today. I'm sorry. I had like a cold the other day, like a head cold the other day, so
So you know, now it's just easy because it says now compute the dollar revenues needed to earn a monthly target profit of 10,050. All I have to do is multiply the 650 by the $750
The 60, right.
price,
Yes.
right? So this problem is really making you think about it from all angles. If I take the 60 trades times $750 per trade, we're going to need 45,000 in revenue to hit the $10,500 target profit. $10,500. Okay, let's see now. Now it says, after you hit continue, the screen may take you right below the beginning of the next step. If so, scroll back up to the top to see the step. I think we're going to need to expand our screen for this one. So I'm going to use the full screen. And we are going to do the chart, right? A chart? Okay. So, let's see. I think with this chart, you can make it big with this plus sign.
How do you make it bigger on the PC?
You just,
Okay, I got it. I just double click the top.
but when you get ready to chart, you might want to have this bigger so
And
you
then
can,
it gives you the point stuff too.
and it gives you the point. So let's read what they want us to do. Graph new CVP relationships, assuming, let's see. This thing came up on me. What does it say? Assuming that an average trade leads to 750 in revenue for new. Show the break-even point, the sales revenue line, the fixed cost line, the total cost line, the operating loss area, the operating income area, and the sales in units, which are trades, and dollars when monthly operating income is 10,500. Okay. We will begin graphing the CVP relationships by first plotting the 2 points, break-even point and the point where the monthly operating income is 10,500.
Oh, here.
Right.
Sorry, that we grabbing the CVP. Okay, got it.
Okay, so I gotta go back up because I know I need to know the units, right? So
Should we write that down real quick? So that
you could write it in on the side and keep it handy, right? But we know that we break even at 40 trades, right? Okay, and total sales dollars will be 30,000 at those 40 trades.
Yeah.
So that's 1 point.
Even point. 40,
And-
30, 40,
someone's in the
30.
process
For-
of
yeah.
stealing my car.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
And then at 60 trades,
Really
total revenue will be 45,000. Okay.
Oh, yeah, 'cause it's-
Let's see if does it let us scroll back up once we do that? No, it
No,
doesn't.
it grays out.
that's one thing about this thing. So
So point.
Well, we have the information here too, so I can always pop over here.
30, no,
Alright, so okay, so we
40
have,
trades.
so we have, wait, so
to
at
get
40 trades we
30,000.
have
30,000.
30,000.
So 40, 30.
40
1
to
point.
41.
So I'm gonna take my point and I'm gonna line it up, $30,000, because this is in thousands,
Yep.
Got it, okay.
and
then
get
it's like
40
units.
trades.
Yeah. Pick it.
How much was it at 60? 45, right?
What the heck?
Is that a dot? That's not a dot. I'm sorry.
This is break even. I think what the
1, 2, 3,
Cancel.
4, 5.
Oh, you can always cancel. I think this is the dot
It is,
here.
yes, that is. And then we have to label it.
Okay, we'll label it. This is always the hard part on the computer because
30, yeah, 30, 40.
that's
Then
the
it's
break-even point,
How do you label it? It won't let me label. It just got a question mark next to it.
and you get to choose.
Yeah, drop it, like click on the question marks.
I am and nothing.
Watch what I do.
And 45,000.
So you go to 45.
Wait,
See
what?
that?
If you look at the upper right hand corner, Kumu, you see the parentheses, you see 245.
It's right here. You go
It's
60.
telling you upper right hand
You see
corner.
here the
your
coordinates.
your plot, your coordinates, thank you.
Up here are the coordinates.
Yes, exactly.
So you can go here.
6,
We get on 45 and it's gonna be
60.
60. Okay, and then look up in that corner. I gotta come down, right?
Yeah, I know. Thanks, yeah.
And then one to the right, you see? Left?
One down and then to the.
There
You're
you
on
go,
it. You're
there
on
you
it.
go.
Okay. So that's gonna be my monthly income is earned.
Wait, this is monthly income for the company, right?
Right.
I cannot. Yeah, I can't label it. It will not. I'm clicking the question marks and it's not. You know, it doesn't matter because I get the gist.
It put some kind of line in. I think I better.
What is it? Question mark? Really?
Oh, it cleared everything. Okay, so we're gonna do it again. Let's see. 30 and 40. Yeah.
So 40, right.
Monthly
Sorry.
income is earned, right?
That's break even.
And then
And
monthly
then
income is earned is the next one.
45 and 60, right?
ERB. Wait.
One more. That's monthly.
Okay. Save. Okay. And then they want us to check answer.
But do we need to draw the line, like, I know the one that we plotted in
Uh.
the exercise before had us connect the lines, do we need to connect the
Let's see.
lines?
Let's see what it says here. We will begin by graphing the CVP relationship by first plotting the 2 points.
Oh, my God,
I think it's just points, so I'm going to hit check answer, and it says well done.
yeah, got it.
Now it says, next plot the following lines. The sales revenue line,
Okay, now we're doing the line, okay, got it.
fixed cost line, and total cost line.
Okay.
Okay, so my sales revenue line is going to run through these 2 points. So let's take this dot, watch this, Makalapu, and run it right through.
That's where the line comes from.
Yeah, that's
No, I've got that, but for some reason my weird thing
That's
was
my
like this black line.
sales. Yeah, you might have to clear it and start again, like I did.
Alright, okay.
Yeah, that's the sales revenue line. Now, what was our fixed cost? Well, I have it on a spreadsheet over here. So, my total cost, total fixed cost was 21,000. Okay, so I'm gonna find 21,000.
But the line automatically came up, right, Kumo?
The line,
When you plotted, oh, sorry,
you got them?
I,
Okay. Right, and then I'm plotting a straight line.
9,000. So the 21,000 was our fixed.
Is our fixed, right?
21, 0, yeah, 0, 21. Wait, oh, yeah.
That's my fixed cost line. You see that?
Oh, okay.
You see I did that? Fixed cost is a straight across because it's 21,000. It doesn't change. With more units, we don't have more fixed cost. It just stays flat all the way. That's what that's expressing. Okay.
Okay.
Now variable cost, it increases with every unit you sell.
Fixed cost.
Right. So variable costs, but what they want us to plot is a total cost line. So the total costs are going to start where the fixed costs start, right? Because if you don't sell any units, you don't have any variable costs. So your total cost will be the fixed costs. But as you sell more units, you're going to have more variable costs. So your total cost is going to go up. So it's not that hard because we can take that line and plot it right through the break-even point.
Wait, what?
You see? Right through that break-even point. And that's going to be our total cost line.
Okay, there's something wrong with my.
You see what I did?
Yeah,
So, what this is showing you is that when total costs hit total revenue, you're not going to have any profit. Right? Before that, you're losing money down in this area.
uh-huh.
But right when you hit, right when your total costs and total revenue are equal, you're breaking even.
Yep.
And then anything beyond that is going to be profit.
Wait, how come I can't label my.
It should, a box should come up to allow you to label it. So you might have to clear and
Really? Again?
yeah, you might have to.
This thing is so stupid.
So let's make sure that we did everything it required in this step. Next, plot the following lines: sales revenue, fixed cost line, and total cost line. I think that's all we had to do in that step. And it says fantastic.
Wait,
Okay.
okay.
And then we can hit continue.
It will not let me label stuff.
Okay. So now we're down to a kind of multiple choice question, right?
It will not let me do this.
Okay, hold on, and then we'll come back to that. Let me just do this since we're recording anyway, right? The final step in our graph is to determine where the operating income and the operating loss areas are on the graph that you previously prepared. So like we were saying, income is going to be up in this top triangle,
Yep.
and loss is going to be down in the lower triangle. Okay. Let's see. So it's going to be this one here, C,
Oh, we have to review the graphs.
and pick them. So you don't really actually have to graph that.
Is down, income is up.
Right. So anything below the break-even point is a loss.
That's correct, up to that total cost.
Right. And then anything above the break-even point is gonna be profit, net income. Yeah. Let's see, suppose that the average revenue new earns increases to 12,500 per trade. Compute the new break-even point in trades. How does this affect the break-even point? Okay, it's gonna make the break-even point lower, right? So all we have to do is take what we already did, okay? And we did this formula here, right? Where did our trade? Okay. So we can do it with this, right? So if it's 21,000 fixed costs, and we're gonna divide that by the new price of 1,250, okay? Minus, you know, we may be in a similar situation. 30% times 1,250.
Yeah.
Let's see if it what we get. Okay. So if I take that fixed cost and let's see if this works. You got 24. So it did take it down, yeah?
Yep.
We got 24. Yeah. So 24, and then the number of trades decreased. Okay. Number of trades decreased. Okay, let's